What's up, Jay here, and today I am going to be going over how I built a NAS or network attached storage server on a budget and how you can do the same. Now I would just like to note that this is not going to be a video on how to put a computer together, as those can be found all over YouTube. It's more going to be the thought and planning and the ideas behind the NAS that I built and how you can achieve that on a budget. So with a growing collection of music and video files, I started searching for a solution to store all of them, and this led me to a network attached storage. Now if you do a search for just purchasing a NAS, you'll find that you can buy these nice little sleek enclosures online, but they'll generally cost you from $300 to $500, only house 2 to 4 hard drives, and you have to pay for the hard drives separately, which can easily double the cost of the NAS. Now, a lot of people will tell you that you should build a NAS with ECC memory, which will help avoid silent corruption of your data. Now, while this is true, and if you are planning on using your NAS in a business or any kind of production environment, it's highly recommended to actually spend the extra money and get one with ECC memory. It's not completely necessary for a small home use server. Now you might be worrying about all of your files getting corrupted, and while it is a possibility, you shouldn't really be using your NAS as a backup itself. You should have a backup somewhere else, preferably somewhere external, because if you have all of your files in one location and there happens to be a power surge or a lightning strike, then everything could get fried in one go and you're just kind of SOL. So because of this, I have all of my family pictures, videos, important documents and whatnot backed up to the cloud. Things like music, movies, and TV shows tend to take up the most space, and they just happen to be easily replaceable, so I don't back those up. They just live on my NAS, where they take up the most amount of space. Now, if you feel that ECC is the way to go for you, that's completely fine. Just note that you do have to buy a motherboard, processor, and memory that all support ECC. Yes, you need all three, and those three things together will generally run you as much, if not more, than the entire build that we're going to be putting together today, including storage. Now, to build a basic NAS, you only need 6 components. You need a case, a motherboard, a processor, some memory, a power supply, and of course, your hard drives. It is also recommended to purchase an uninterruptible power supply, but that's not something that is immediately necessary and can always be purchased later. Now, to keep costs as low as possible, you will likely want to buy your components piecemeal and try to find them on sale wherever possible. Starting with the case, you will want to find a balance between how much storage space you want and the size of the machine you're willing to have. I wanted something that I could expand in the future and found the Fractal Design R4, which holds up to 8 hard drives, on sale for $70. Now when it comes to the motherboard, micro ATXs tend to offer the most cost savings. You'll probably want to get one with 4 memory slots and as many SATA ports as possible, but don't stress too much over the SATA ports, as that PCIe slot can be used for future expansion. I was able to snag a well-rated Gigabyte board for a mere $65. Now when it comes to the processor, you don't really need a whole lot of power, unless you're going to have a lot of people streaming media all at one time. So I picked up a refurbished Pentium G3220T with 2 cores running at 2.6 GHz for only $50. Now when it comes to memory, you'll probably only need to start with 8 GB, but it does help to have the option to expand in the future in case you really increase the amount of storage space that you're using. I personally had some leftover sticks of G.Skill Ripjaws X at 4 GB a stick, so I was able to get 16 gigs in my machine, but an 8GB set of this memory can be purchased currently at $35. Now, next up was the power supply, and since you're not running a lot of power-hungry components, you don't really need a super beefy power supply. Because of this, I went with a standard EVGA 80+ rated 430-watt PSU, which I picked up for only $35 off of Amazon. Finally, we come to the hard drives. This is where your mileage will vary depending on how much storage space you need and what kind of configuration you want to put your drives in. This is also a place that you don't want to skimp. Rather than buying the cheapest drives you can find, you want to get some that will last. This means either purchasing drives that are specifically made for a NAS or drives labeled as Enterprise. I decided to start out with 3 drives in a RAID Z configuration, which allowed me for future expansion. I ended up finding some 2TB Western Digital Red NAS drives on sale for only $70 a piece, which yielded me with 3.4 terabytes of usable space. Anyway guys, thanks for checking out my video. I hope you found it useful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, feel free to give it a thumbs down. Let me know what you did or didn't like, or if you have any questions in the comments, I will try to answer as much as I can. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.